Hey guys, what's up? God damn it. So this is officially gonna be the first YouTube video we do today. It's gonna be the first game video on YouTube, gaming video on the YouTube channel. So welcome if you're new here. My name is Elnilson. I also stream live on Twitch at Elnilson Gaming, or just Elnilson on Twitch. Actually, it's Elnilson Gaming here and Elnilson Gaming everywhere except on Twitch. So the idea is for this channel to go over some of the lesser known titles in the gaming industry, focus heavily on some indie development content, and then have a look at what it exactly is and just have some fun with it, man. Now, I'm an idiot. Just gonna come out and say it. I'm a fucking idiot, man. Oh, that's gonna get me demonetized. Better bleep that out. No, I'm an idiot because I started playing this off stream on Fridays, and I bought like a bunch of indie games during the Twitch summer sales, and I was like, man, like, which am I gonna play? And Griftlands, I think it was out first on the Epic Game Stores, and I didn't want to buy it there because all of my games are mainly on Twitch. So I waited, and I liked everything about it, man. It just looked so good. And I started playing it, and I remember opening up the game, going to the main menu, wanting to start playing it, and then be like, nah, man, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for Sunday for the recording day, and I'm gonna play it. And it was stronger than myself. So, unfortunately, our first run as the first playable character, we finished it on our first try, which is in a roguelike, kind of unusual. Now, I don't have any reference material on this game and how hard that actually is, but we completed the whole story in one go. We had a pretty nice engine going at the end there, and it kind of worked, which is great. It was so much fun. But yeah, I had no recordings of it, so I started playing it. I thought I'm just gonna play it for like a couple of minutes, and before I knew it was over, it was 1 o'clock. So yeah, that happened. So instead of maybe playing the first character and spoiling that story again, perhaps we go for the second character because I haven't played as him yet. So we're gonna start an all fresh new run, which will trigger every cutscene again, I'm pretty sure, and then that will give you some idea on how that plays. Now, I don't know how he is like as a character. I've seen the artwork in some of the cards and everything, but like this is completely new for me as well. So, you know what? Rook the spy, the bog job. Rook arrives in the company town on the brink of revolt to work a mysterious contract. So this basically, you unlock the rest of these menus basically after you finished the game for the first time, or as on your first run, you finish your first run, or you die probably. It will unlock some stuff as well. So as you can see right over here, we already unlocked some stuff. So we got the first prestige level, we got some different kind of level outfits to wear, which you can like wear in the game, which is pretty neat. Now, this game is pretty much like, it's gonna draw comparisons with like games as Slay the Spire, which would be fair, definitely, because it's definitely heavily inspired by that. But it has a lot of interesting choices in the design that you might not expect at first. Now, his battle deck seems to be focused mainly around his pistol, and this is like the basic deck that we're gonna be starting with. And then we also have a negotiation deck, which is a interesting mechanics. It took me a while to get the hang of it, but at the end, we had a very, very interesting game engine going, where we would buy influence on the character and then level that influence on turn 1 to basically set us up for success throughout the rest of the run through or that encounter. And that engine went pretty hard, man. Now, I know that's confusing, but you'll see what I mean in like a couple of minutes. So those were the two decks. Let's get right into it.
Bear the brunt of the world when you wear a soldier's uniform. So you turned yours in and left the Admiralty. But even out of uniform, your name still carries the weight of your medals. Captain Rook, the veteran, the hero, the saboteur, the spy. These days you freelance, and you're on your way to a job in Grout Bog. where the Spark Barons plumb the ruins looking for forgotten treasures. The bugs there are hard to spot, but they bleed you dry if you let them. Seems like you'll fit in just fine.
All right, so this is like the art style already, man. I think that's amazing. I think the art style is just amazing. So let's see. The land around Grout Bog squelches with much mud hungry for legs as well as boots. The only road leads to a gate flanked by armed security, a Spark Baron. And this is what I like as well. So there's no like established universe of this game, right? And so the interesting thing is that whenever there's something underlined like right over here, we can mouse over that and get some more information about that thing. So Spark Barons are a technocratic faction who retrofit new technology from ancient ruins, much to the cult's displeasure. So a Spark Baron guard steps out into the path as you approach. Stop right there, criminal scum! The block is closed, especially to grifters like you. So grifters is kind of a name that gets thrown around to people doing odd jobs, or like it says over here, a name for any factionless settler, explorer, or opportunist who hails from the Havarian Griftlands. Unless you pay the processing fee, then maybe I could see to considering your petition for entry. So here we get two options, right? One is pay the bribe, and that is going to cost us 20 shills. Shills are base currency. So that gives us an opportunity to really quickly look at the UI. So over here we have day one. So it's day one. We have 0% progress. We have 75 shills, so we would pay 20 shills out of 75. And then we have two kind of health bars. Resolve, which is used as a health bar in social interactions, and then health, which is used in battle. So here are two decks, some feedback button where we can quickly send some feedback about what's going on in the game, which is actually, look at that, man. That is pretty neat. In terms of feedback, this is pretty neat. Like, it takes a screenshot and then tells you, you can mark over here what you don't think is good with it, or what you kind of don't like, and then you can give like your sentimental or sentiment about it. That's amazing, man. So yeah, we'll go over these, whatever is over here. So we have our negotiation deck where we're gonna have a look in. These are some of the cards. I'll go into that in a second. Our battle deck, which, you know, just like you say, Aspire, you would have like attacks or skills, and they do different kind of things. Grafts, so currently these are empty, but those are kind of, you could look at that as artifacts. So kind of artifacts that you would gather, just like you say, Aspire, that would kind of adapt the way your deck works. Lucky coin, so this is apparently a, this is something I actually didn't check yet. And is probably unique to this character. Basic lucky coin. So it applies 1 composure to a random friendly argument or deals 1 damage to a random enemy argument. And Rooks live long enough to leave some things up to fate. When he doesn't like his odds, destiny may provide him with a chance to trade in his coin for another. Huh, interesting. And then apparently he has pistols as well, so this is new to me as well. I'm not sure if we had that the last time. It was quite late when I started playing. And I was kind of tired, so I just started playing just to get like a hang of the game. But he apparently has twin military grade EH1076 discharge pistols modified, which apparently runs on charge chambers. And so pistol chambers can hold charge. Charge can be used in battle for additional effects. Empty chambers restore charge over time, protecting Rook in the meanwhile. Interesting. And overcharge limit, no limits. So gaining charge while at full charge generates overcharge, and that increases maximum damage. So this is probably something that would come up into the game, and this is something really interesting as well. So the way this game works is it has a very narrative structure as well, where Slay the Spire is very heavily roguelite. This has a kind of narrative structure into it where you'll meet people, and depending on who you will leave alive or you'll not spare. At the end of combat, people will interact with that. So they'll either like you or don't like you. And some will actually hate you and others will die. And that makes it really interesting. So that brings us back to this decision we have to make. So now we can either pay the tribute, which is like a lot of gold. So we might not want to do that. And or we could go into a negotiation, which we will do. Because the opponent has -6 resolve, because he isn't that good at his job. All right. Forgive me for being skeptical of this fee. In fact, I'd like to speak to your supervisor. So this triggers an encounter. You know what? I've been through this, but we'll do the tutorial real quick.
During negotiations, Rook is able to gamble by flipping his lucky coin. Whether it comes up heads or snails, different actions will occur, and cards can have different effects depending upon the current state of the coin.
Really, bro? Heads or snails? Come on, man. Oh, so this is his unique mechanic, so this is new to me as well.
At certain points in his story, Rook will have the opportunity to trade his coin for others with different special effects. Try to find a coin that works well with the deck that you are building on a particular run.
Okay, that's neat. That kind of changes his thing as well. So, okay, so this confused the hell out of me in the beginning. So let's start with the beginning. All right, so let me perhaps turn down the music a bit because it's overtaking the rest of the audio for me. Let's run that at like 40, that's fine. Yes. That's still hella loud. Oh, that's because we didn't save. All right, apply changes. There we go. So basically you have two types of cards. So you have a manipulate card, and there's maybe more, but right now we have two, and diplomacy cards. And there's also threaten cards, but we'll get to that later. Now, the way a card is built, if you look at it, this is its action cost, which currently is 0. And then it has like the standard keywords like gamble, flip your lucky coin, so that's something it will do. And then sticky, it's not discarded at the end of your turn, which is pretty interesting. And it also has an upgrade progress. So that's something I really liked as well, is every time you use a card, you will gain 1 progression towards upgrading that card. But we'll get to that when we get to. So this is basically, we are in a negotiation, which is a battle of wills, and it's exemplified by us having a deck with arguments. So we're going to make arguments and attack their logic either directly or indirectly. So our core argument is called spare coin, which is our health bar. And currently we will be taking 4 damage to that argument from his or enemy's intent. He has also a hidden intent that we don't know what it is, and he's going to deploy that in 1 turn, so basically next turn. His core argument is Appropriator. So at the start of Ricket's turn, steal 1 card from Rook and hold it hostage. So that's also an effect that will happen. For us, we have a couple of effects on the card. So this one's called Pleasantries, and apparently whenever the coin ends up heads, we deal maximum damage, which at this time is something we would, which is pretty interesting. So you see that this does 3 out of 3 damage. But when you would actually inspect that card, you see it costs 1 action point, but it will do between 1 and 3 damage, right? Okay, so that being said, this is kind of like damage. So right now we would do 3 damage every single time to that argument. So if we would attack over here, it's nice weather we're having, Pleasantries. He's like charming his ass off. So he took 3 damage of his resolve of 14, right? And then we can also see, so we're probably gonna attack twice, right? Because right now he's not doing a whole lot, except for attacking us for 4. But like doing 6 damage to his core argument and basically his HP bar would be pretty good. Now, we have a basic manipulate over here, which is called Rationale, and it will apply to Composure. Now, Composure is basically the little shield icon over here, and it's like armor to that argument. So we're gonna steel ourselves against our opponent's argument. I guess that's what it implies. And then whenever we would want to flip the coin, so let's say that we have cards that would rather or had better effect with snails, we could get a coin flip and get a 50-50 probably on getting better outcomes of our cards. So that's all we could do. We had only 3 actions. We spent 3 action points. We could flip the coin, but why? It will stay in our hand because of the sticky. It's not going to be discarded, so we're only going to lose a trickery, which we don't really want to use right now. So we're going to end our turn. So that will resolve, and now there will be a new argument being played. And so he had this special ability where he would hold a card of our hostage, and apparently that's going to be trickery. We're going to accept that. There's nothing we can do about it right now. So every single argument also has a health bar, right? So this is appropriated. This is our card that he stole, and that's, we only need to do 1 HP to it, and that will be returned to us. Now, if it's destroyed, all cards are returned to Rook's hand. Rook gains 2 vulnerability, so that's something to keep in mind, that we will take more damage. That's what vulnerability actually means. So do we want to do that? Do we really need that card to win? I don't think so right now. That's fine. And now we have a new argument. It's called All Business. Ricket gains 1 composure for each hostility card you draw, which is something that we might want to keep be mindful to. We don't have a lot of those in, so those are the red cards. Those are hostility cards. We don't have a lot of those, so that's probably not going to be all that relevant per se. So here you can see, if we would flip this coin, this would gain 1 bonus damage. So right now we have heads. So what we will probably do, I think, just to demonstrate, is deal 3 here. And then let's see what happened when we flip the coin. Is it random? Yes, okay, so it is random. We would love for it to be on snails, not tails. Okay, so now it's snails. All right, so basically every time the coin gets flipped, and it's either heads or snails. If it's head, it would apply 1 composer to a random friendly argument. We have only 1. And if it would end up snails, it will deal 1 damage to a random enemy argument, which turned out to be his core argument. So now this does more damage. That's pretty good. So 2 and 4, it's going to do between 2 and 4 damage. It did 4. Okay, so now we can still apply some composure, take only 1 damage, end our turn, and probably finish him next turn. Now the interesting thing about this game is that every kind of person in the game has like its own unique way of interacting with the world, and his personality, or certain people in the gang will have like the same kind of personality. So it's possible for us to get donated a argument by the enemy. So sometimes you will see something like planted evidence when you're interacting with like corrupt cops, and that really adds to the whole flavor of the game. But we're just gonna finish the game right here, most likely. Yeah, so so as long as you destroy the core argument, that's where it really falls apart, and that's when you win the negotiation. So in true roguelike, say the Spire style, we would get a new card potentially. So now we get to choose between 3 cards.